Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Dustinkreis and today we're going to do a game discussion. We're going to talk about this game right here, Deadpool for the Xbox 360 and also the PS3. And this copy was sent to me by my good friend T.G. Appileus. He got finished with it and didn't really feel like he wanted to keep it around in his collection. And I love Deadpool, and so he's like, yeah, I'll send it to you. So sent it to me and I finally got around to playing it. And I have to say, I enjoy this game, but I can see why it got middle of the road reviews. It's just kind of, I mean, it's a crazy, wacky, out there game because, of course, Deadpool is the main character. But at the same time, it just kind of gets repetitive and a little bit frustrating. It's not as fine tuned of an action game as I would want, and definitely the aesthetic is awesome. But sometimes it does get a little grating, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, in this game, you basically play as Deadpool, who is in talks with High Moon Studios to make a video game about his life, and it's typical of the Deadpool comic series in that it breaks the fourth wall. He knows he's in a video game. He makes references to it all the time, and from there, he's just trying to, do his Deadpool thing, and you meet various mutants across the game. You meet Cable, you meet Wolverine, and it's kind of cool to see these characters come in sort of a very less serious role, because this is a very comedic game. But it's also a very juvenile game, and almost juvenile to the point of just being like, all right, that's pretty fucking stupid. And me saying this is pretty fucking stupid. It also leads me to a point that I don't remember there being that many fucks and shits in Marvel Comics. Now, it's been a long time since I've bought a comic book from Marvel. And maybe they're getting, really risque with their publications. And maybe Deadpool in and of itself is a very risque comic. But I don't remember when I, was reading comics that it had that many fucks and shits in it. But definitely a mature game. And yeah, the character of Deadpool is voiced by Nolan North, who, if you've played, I don't know, any video game in like the last 10 years, he's probably done a voice in that game. He's also did a voice of Raphael in the TMNT movie, I believe. And he's just everywhere, and he does a fantastic job in this game. But the problem is, Deadpool is the merc with the mouth, and he usually has a quip for everything and never runs out of things to say. And in this game, it's pretty much like that until he runs out of things to say and starts repeating himself. And it's just like you hear the same like little barb over and over again. And finally, it almost drives you to the point of your brain snapping, because Deadpool is always talking. So if the voice and sort of all the quips and stuff like that aren't your cup of tea, this can become grating really fast. Gameplay wise, this is pretty much a traditional sort of third-person hack and slash, third-person shooter type of game. However, I find the controls to be not as refined in other games. And I know there's games like Killer is Dead and stuff like that, where I kind of gave it a pass. And I kind of give this a pass too. There's only one thing that really drives me nuts in these types of games, and that is the platforming. And the jumping in this, Deadpool has a normal jump and a double jump. The jumping, it doesn't seem like he jumps high enough, and he always gets stuck on the environment, and it leads to a lot of deaths. So then you correct it by doing the double jump, which will get you over the obstacle, but then it'll shoot you over the platform that you're trying to reach. So in a lot of respects, the jumping is probably the most frustrating part of this game. But yeah, you have your combos, you have quick melee attacks, you have strong melee attacks, and then you have your guns. Pretty standard fare. You can build combos between the two, light and heavy hits. You can throw some gun action in there. I really like the upgrade system in this game. You collect, the more combos you do, the bigger your sort of score is, and the more upgrade stuff you get. And you can put things into your swords. You can buy new weapons. You get new guns and all that kind of stuff. It really is. It really does kind of reward you for learning the combat system, which this also has a dodge in it. I shouldn't say a dodge. Well, it is kind of a dodge. You can teleport around by pressing the B button, teleport out of danger. And at certain times, you can press the B button to do like a big counter move. Does not work as good as Arkham City's, and I still think that for that kind of counter combat, I still think the Batman series has really just refined that to a perfect thing. And other games are trying to do it, and like Deadpool, they just don't pull it off as well. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for sort of a dumb action game, you can't get much dumber than this. This is like, and when I say dumb, you just don't have to think a lot, and the storyline is pretty dumb. I mean, it's Deadpool, and it kind of gives Duke Nukem a run for its money in sort of just crassness. But at times I find it really funny, and then at times I'm just like, all right, I'm not 12. But yeah, definitely, they made a big deal about Killer is Dead and the Gigolo missions in the press, and then I feel like this just got a pass, you know what I mean? Like, and there's so many things in this that are so much worse than anything that's in Killer is Dead. I just find it crazy that people are, slamming Killer is Dead, and then it just seems like this just kind of flew under the radar. There's one scene where Deadpool sneaks up behind these two enemies, and they're urinating in urinals, and just kind of walks up to the urinal between them, starts talking to them, and you can see their urine going into the urinal. And nothing in Killer is Dead is that subversive, I guess. But yeah, the graphics are kind of a mixed bag. I find the character models to be nicely detailed, especially like Wolverine, Deadpool, and Cable. The environments kinda are bland, and yeah, they're just kind of bland, and they feel kind of lifeless in places. But that being said, the models are good. I never really noticed any like screen tearing or graphical glitches or things like that. No real bad things with pop-ins. The camera is kind of wonky in this game, but usually in these third-person action games, the camera is a bit off kilter. What's left? The music. The audio in this game is actually pretty awesome. I love the different musics. It can go from like heavy metal while you're fighting to something to like the craziest out there music during one of the cutscenes where Deadpool is doing something incredibly stupid. So from an audio standpoint, it is really good. The voice acting is really good. It's just, if it's not your cup of tea, it might become grating to your senses. Especially the fact, with Deadpool constantly quipping, it just feels like sometimes I just want to turn the volume down and not really listen to it anymore. It's funny while he's saying something new, but once you hear that same phrase over and over again, by the fifth time, you just kind of want to start tearing your eyes out. But yeah, Deadpool. Recommendations. It's kind of hard. I don't know what the current asking price for this is right now. I think it's still in the $40 range new. I would not recommend it at that price. I think once it gets down to about $20, this will be a great purchase. If you can, get it used for even cheaper, then I think your expectations will be low enough that you'll really enjoy it. It's a fun game, but at the same time, it doesn't do anything to really break the mold of the third-person action game, except for the personality of Deadpool. So if you like Deadpool, you'll probably like this game. If you like third-person action games, you'll probably like this game. Although I would say I would prefer Killer is Dead or Devil May Cry to this game. It just, I think those two games were just a little bit better. As Killer is Dead more aesthetic, trying to do something new with it, and Devil May Cry is just a better all-around game than Deadpool is. But still a fun game. Check it out when it gets cheap, or unless you really want to pay the price for it now. But I'm glad that TJ Appileus sent it to me, and I want to thank him for that, because I did enjoy this game. And aside from the sort of, I don't know, it's almost just too in your face with like how supposedly risque it is. It kind of reminds me of the Miley Cyrus twerking thing, which that was supposed to be sexy. It's like they're trying too hard to be over the top and funny in this game, and there's just not a subtlety to it. But then again, that's Deadpool. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say about this game. Pretty fun, pretty enjoyable, but also kind of forgettable. So, yeah, it's not going to rock your world. But when it gets cheap, it'll be a fun pickup. When you get, you just go in there, it's like, oh, it's $8. Well, there we go. So, yeah. But anyway, that is it for Deadpool. I'm going to go and, I don't know, maybe start something new now. So I guess we'll see what comes up next. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time.